It's the Bison Football Show. Valley News Live and Gate City Bank present the Bison Football Show with head coach Chris Kleiman.
A real stunner at Gate City Bank Field this past weekend. South Dakota ended the 26-game home winning streak for the Bison with this field goal as time expired. The Bison had not lost at home in 3 years, and it was almost 3 years to the day, in fact. We welcome to the set head coach Chris Kleiman. And, Coach, what do you make of this loss?
Well, I credit South Dakota. They had a really good game plan. They executed the game plan. They beat us at our own game in the second half. They were able to run the football, and we were not able to run the football. And you've got to come out every week and have your A game. We talk about it all the time, Jeremy.
Yep.
If you don't have your A game in this league, you're going to get beat each Saturday.
Did you sense anything throughout the week of practice that maybe this was a letdown type thing, or did you sense anything from the guys at all?
Well, you always worry about it after coming off 3 emotional wins like we've had, but and we talked about it throughout the week. I thought our practices were really good. I didn't see a lot of the emotion and fire on Friday and Saturday in focus, and that's on us as coaches, and that's something that we have to get squared away, as well as our leadership and our captains, and I've got a lot of faith in those guys, and not only coaches but our leaders and captains, and we'll right the ship.
Let's take a look at this game. We'll break it down a little bit. Gate City Bank Field, a great crowd again, and you know, early on, Coach, this game started very, very well. The defense forced an early 3-and-out.
Yeah, great pressure on the passer, steps up, and nowhere to go with the football.
You know, early in the game, the offense was clicking. This is a terrific drive to start. You get the ball back after the 3-and-out, 15 yards right away to Zach Braw. Yeah, really good sequence of plays on our openers with Coach Polisek, and we're clicking early in the game. Last week's hero, Darius Shepard, had a very nice catch early.
Yeah, he did. Great run after the catch, and that's something we're always emphasizing.
You know, Chase Morlock had that high ankle sprain. I thought he looked pretty good. He had a little burst again, didn't he?
He sure did. I think he was probably closer to 90-95%, and hopefully we'll get 100% Chase moving forward.
He did have a shoulder injury that he sustained last week, too, so he really battles through injuries, doesn't he?
Boy, he sure does. Really tough kid.
Bruce Anderson starting to come along. He finishes this drive with a touchdown, 7-0.
Yeah, good blocking up front, and we get on the board early.
We talked about it last week, turnovers and takeaways, how important they are. You get a takeaway early here.
Yeah, we do. Really good play, I think you'll see by C.J. Smith coming back on it and stripping the ball late and doing a good job of flipping the field and strip right there. And I think MJ gets it, and now we're working on a short field.
Those are big, too, aren't they? I mean, those are big momentum plays early in a game.
Oh, absolutely. Those things, you know, you get the momentum, you got to be able to keep the momentum.
Good pressure here by the front guys.
Good job by Greg and MJ, and they turn it over, but they were able to get back on it.
You know, Chase, even with that shoulder bugging him a little bit, he was getting tough yards between the tackles.
Yeah, I thought we were getting a good push up front with the O-line. We just weren't popping that big 15, 20-yard run.
And here's a big play here to Darius Shepard again. He finds a way on a post route across the middle.
Yeah, a great throw by Carson, good protection, and Darius does a great job against good coverage.
I'll tell you what, at this point in the game, 14-0, the offense is clicking, things are looking good, but football is such a game of momentum, and they get a play here that really kind of flipped the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, they really do. We miss a fit there, and the quarterback ends up getting a 25-yard gain when it probably should have been about 5.
And now they got a little momentum. Edge route here for 20 yards. They're starting to move the football a little bit.
Yeah, and this quarterback does a really nice job. We missed a tackle, and they're out the gate, and now they're in our red zone.
You know, the defense bowed their neck a little bit here, though. It's a 3rd and goal from the 8, so if you can get a stop here, you're still in good shape, but they do cash in.
Yeah, we need to prevent touchdowns and make them hit field goals. They throw it to their 6'5" receiver, and he goes up and gets the ball.
So it's 14-7 at this point, and the momentum continues for USD. The Bison offense didn't sustain a drive. They get another big play.
Yeah, kind of the same look of the quarterback run, but he runs the line of scrimmage and flips it over, something that we hadn't seen, which is a great call by them, and they get a big play against us.
Was that kind of a jump pass, too? He got to the line and jumped pass?
It was. It was just the old-fashioned jump pass.
Well, they cash it in here. 14 all at this point. The game has changed a little bit, the tone, hasn't it?
Absolutely. The momentum's totally shifted, and that's something we talked about. We have to be able to get the momentum back and then keep it once you get it.
I'll tell you, right before half, though, this was an impressive drive. Darius Anderson right across the middle.
Yeah, good job by Darius. Good job by Carson standing in the pocket, getting hit, and delivering the ball.
Points before half, always big to get some momentum going into half, and you do get points here. Andrew Bonnet finishes this drive with a touchdown.
Yeah, good throw, good route by Andrew, and we get a nice score to take the lead at half.
So it's 21-14. The Bison are just fine at halftime. You see some of the stats, 26 plays for USD, 36 for NDSU. The time of possession, USD did win that battle in the first half. They would win it for the game as well. Andrew Bonnet had such a great game. He's on the hot seat this week, the Gate City Bank hot seat. All right, Andrew, what's your favorite pro team, any sport?
The Iowa Barnstormers.
Oh, there we go. There's a unique one. Who would you describe as your hero?
Definitely my dad.
Favorite sport other than football?
Weightlifting.
Yeah, I can see that. Name something you are bad at.
Remembering people's names.
What drives you crazy about your roommates?
They're always leaving things on, fans, lights, garage doors open.
In traffic, are you patient or do you get frustrated?
Definitely get frustrated. Everywhere's a race to get to.
Yeah. What do you like most about this area, Fargo and North Dakota in general?
I'd say the people. Yeah, everyone's really nice. Yeah.
How about this Bison coaching staff? What do you like most about it?
You got a diverse group of personalities throughout there. Yeah.
That's true. One thing people don't know about you.
My favorite color is red.
Coach, at halftime, did you sense that this was going to be a real tight game for 4 quarters?
I did, and we kind of cautioned the guys that we didn't think they were playing with a lot of emotion and energy, and you have to bring it every time. And we kind of warned them that we had to go out and seize it early in this third quarter, and unfortunately we weren't able to do it.
Yeah, and the Bison got the ball to start the second half. As we roll the tape and look at these highlights and break down the second half for you, Bison got the ball, had a 3-and-out, however, so USD, now they start with the football. And this Mike Frederick's a pretty good freshman player for them.
Yeah, he's a really good player, and they have good field position, so we weren't able to flip the field either in special teams.
I'll tell you what, though, this is a big takeaway here for Robbie Grimsley. He gets an interception here.
Yeah, he does.
I thought a good play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good call, good coverage, and Robbie goes up and gets it at the highest point, and we flip the field on them.
You know, it's tough to sustain a drive offensively in the second half. They were doing a nice job, and Vraw gets 13 yards here, but again, the drives were tough, weren't they?
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job of second half adjustments and really kind of stymied us offensively.
This drive stalls here on this next play, and was the offense getting frustrated at all? How do you keep them from getting too frustrated to kind of keep in the game?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
It's something that we've got to be able to do a better job of and just be able to dial up some better plays and really execute better at the line of scrimmage. We just don't do a good job protecting Carson here, and that's where you can't have those field flip. Now we're punting inside of our own 10.
Yeah, and they start this drive in your territory, and this is good field position for them. They couldn't move it on this drive, though.
No, really good job by the defense stepping up here and getting a big stop and forcing them into a long field goal.
Yes, a long field goal. He's a pretty good kicker, though, isn't he? He does miss this one, though.
Yeah, he's an excellent kicker. He's got a great leg.
Yeah, plenty of leg on that one. It's just a little wide left, and at the time, a big play. It's still 21-14, and nice run by King here.
Yeah, good job up front by the O-line, and King gets a nice big gain for 12.
Well, I'll tell you what, no points either way in the third quarter. Both teams had a goose egg in the third quarter. We're flipping the field now to the fourth quarter, and R.J. Erzendowski, big play, 19 yards.
A really good throw and catch, and good job once again after the catch of making something happen, and we're starting to get into their territory.
Yep, right here, though, kind of a key sequence here. You get forced into a third and long.
Yeah, we get forced into a third and long, and we don't get a good enough chunk probably. We only get 2 or 3, and so now we've got to kick a 46 or 45-yard field goal.
45-yarder. Cam's been good this year, too, and he has plenty of leg here.
He's got plenty of leg. I think he just pushed it a little bit right, and those were big points for us.
You know, and at this point in the game, Coach, I thought their quarterback, Ryan Sager, got into a rhythm a little bit, didn't he?
He really did, and you saw that time of possession stat in the first half. It started to probably wear on us a little bit in the second half, and they kind of wore us down a little bit on defense.
And they were good on third down. Here's a 3rd and 1. They get 2 with the quarterback run.
Exactly, and like you said, they're 3rd and 1, and they're getting 2 or 3, and 3rd and 2, and they're getting 3 or 4, and we have to be able to get off the field on third down.
Yep, here's another 3rd and 1. They get 2 again. They were 5 of 5 in the fourth quarter on third down.
Yeah, and that gives them another 8-9 minutes of possession and keeps our offense on the sideline.
They do finish this drive off, tie the ball game up with a little corner route.
Yeah, good little pick play, and they rub the defensive back, and the guy goes to flat and gets a big touchdown.
I'll tell you what, though, at this point, 4.5 minutes left, game's tied at 21. You have number 11 over there, but this drive never materialized, did it?
No, we have 4 minutes left to have a chance to drive down and score, and give USD's defense credit. They bowed up and stopped us, and now their momentum, they have all of it offensively, and once again, this quarterback just kind of matriculates down the field and is able to get 5 and 6 a pop, and we had a penalty in there that gave them another 15 yards, and they're kind of inching into field goal range.
Their running back gets 14 here. He got injured on this play, but they're moving it down the field at this point. It's getting to be a pressure situation, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is, and we're trying to strip it and stuff, and they're just continuing to get 3 and 4. The biggest thing is they're milking the clock down so that we don't get an opportunity to get the ball back, and this kid's an excellent kicker. Probably wasn't going to miss it a second time, and you know, give them credit. They came into the Fargo Dome and beat us.
Yep, 24-21 the final, really a chip shot field goal there at the end. There you see the rush yards, 193 for USD. We'll talk about that in a minute. Third downs as well. USD very successful, 8 of 13. Let's hear what the players had to say after the game.
We just couldn't stay on the field, couldn't get anything going. We'd have a good play and then either come back or we just couldn't stay on the field. And
all the credit to USD. They had a terrific game plan, came out and executed. You know, as a defense, we really pride ourselves in stopping the run, and we weren't able to do that today.
We just got to know that we can't just come in and win a game. Like, we got to work for it. You know, we got to go get it. And you know, like we talked about already, we were flat today. We didn't have energy, no excitement. And you know, we only get so many opportunities. We got to take advantage of every one of them.
Same thing, same mindset. You know, basically what we need to do is just limit the big plays and get our offensive ball back. So that's what it comes down to.
I mean, everyone wants to talk about it like a letdown game, like it just happened. But you know, I thought, you know, we were pretty locked in during the week, and it just kind of came back to bite us here.
Either way you look at it, it's just we're trying to go 1-0 for our next game. We just got to put this one behind us. Obviously, it's a learning experience, but we're going to move forward and bounce back from it.
You know, South Dakota did a good job on their offense and on their third down defense as well, getting us off the field, and they just beat us today.
Thanks to the players for their comments. Well, a bright young star is this week's Nodak Mutual Insurance Player of the Game. Bruce Anderson is emerging into a real threat in his true freshman year. He's an explosive runner, makes people miss. He's also a weapon in the return game. He led the Bison with 104 all-purpose yards against USD.
At the moment, I was very excited. I mean, as your first touchdown ever, I mean, you're going to remember it, but coming after the game, I really don't feel anything, so I'm just going to practice harder and get the team moving, and we're just going to strive for it.
What do you think of Bruce of late? He's coming around, isn't he?
He's doing a nice job. We've probably got to get him a few more carries. I think he's a home run hitter, a difference maker, and that's kind of what we're lacking right now offensively is that home run guy, and we'll kind of go back to the drawing board and see if he may be the guy.
What about injuries? Obviously, Austin Coonert, Lance Dunn did not play again. What about Coonert? What's his status?
We hope to get Austin back this next week. It was an elbow injury, and he's a mainstay at center for us. He's been a 2-year starter, and we hope, we'll find out Tuesday or Wednesday, we hope he can play this week.
Well, let's dive into some of the numbers a little bit after this loss, Coach, and let's look at the rushing totals. What do you make of the rushing numbers? In the 3 games, Montana, Northern Iowa, South Dakota, numbers are pretty good, but only 53 total yards in the other 3 games, but 690 in those 3 games that we highlight there.
Yeah, and that's, you're not going to win the game when you're giving up that kind of rushing yards. And probably more specific on that, those last 2 games, it's the quarterback run. And it's something defensively we have to do a better job of tackling the quarterback, accounting for the quarterback, and it's something that moving forward, I know teams are going to say, hey, we can run the quarterback against the Bison. It's something we'll shore up this week.
Coach, your defense has been very good on third down. Let's look at some third down percentage numbers for the opponent. In the 2 losses, the opponents have been good. In the 4 wins, 8 of 51. Overall, still 5th in the NCAA in that stat. But in the 2 losses, those 2 teams have done well on third down. That's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, there's your time of possession right there as well. That's how the offense holds it for 40 minutes and not a 30-30 like it was yesterday. And for us, we have to be able to get off on third down. And then flip it around offensively, we've got to be able to convert probably more consistently on third down, so we can. And Carson hit it on the head, staying on the field. And the one thing you hear about those sound bites, those kids care. Those kids are hurting, and we've got great leadership, and it'll come out this week.
There's no doubt. Now that the dust has settled in the Missouri Valley, let's pop the standings up here and kind of see where we're at. It is just a jumbled up situation. We thought that it was going to be that way this year, but Illinois State and Western Illinois still have not taken a conference loss. What do you think of that?
It's every week, you know, every week somebody can get knocked off, and it's a great league. We know it. That's why we hope to be able to get 5 teams every year in the playoffs, and sometimes we beat each other up, and so you may not get that 5th, but hopefully we can get 5 teams somehow. Yeah, no doubt. Well, moving forward here, we're going to dive into the history of Carson Wentz, go back to his days in Bismarck. You'll be interested to hear from his high school coaches and his family as well. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Carson Wentz is getting a lot of local and national attention about his play on the field, but what about his younger years created the star that we see today? At what point did everyone realize, okay, we have a special talent here? His coaches and family give us that angle in this week's Olaf Anderson Construction feature story.
Carson Wentz is a 6'6", 235-pound quarterback who is being heavily scouted by the NFL. He was far from the biggest guy on the team when he was growing up in the capital city.
Even his freshman year, his sophomore year, he was only about 140, 150 pounds.
His high school football coach says Carson grew 3 or 4 inches before his junior year and then another 3 or 4 before his final season with the Patriots.
His senior year, we had him down at 6'4", 200 pounds. So he's even grown a little bit since then.
There is one thing Wentz never had to grow into.
The first thing that comes to mind is his competitive nature. One of the most competitive kids I've ever coached.
I think it's part of our upbringing. We were competitive through everything we did. And he was always a little bit smaller than me, a little smaller than my dad, and he just had a chip on his shoulder that regardless, he was going to find a way to get it done.
That certainly sounds familiar to Bison fans. Carson has made it a habit of playing his best in NDSU's biggest moments.
Touchdown, Bison!
I would think as a pro scout, that's the one thing that has to be at, how should I say it, at the forefront of some of the decisions that they make is how cool and collective he is in these type of situations.
Wentz was certainly in championship situations before he got to college, including going head-to-head with another current Bison athlete in 2011. Bismarck High's Dexter Werner.
You know, I still put the game tape in and watch those 2 guys bang against each other. And, you know, without Carson on our basketball team, you know, I think it's very difficult for us, obviously, to accomplish what we did that year. And he was probably the only guy probably in the state of North Dakota that could have matched up with Dexter.
Carson has emerged from the shadow of a family member.
The role has switched a little bit. You know, now I've become Carson's brother now, and he gets a kick out of it.
To now, where he's one of the best QBs in all of college football.
If I could sum him up in one word, it'd be just fearless.
For the Bison Football Show, I'm Lee Timmerman.
It's fun to hear those background stories and hear his high school coaches talk about him, and I'm sure a lot of that sounded very familiar to you.
Boy, it sure did. What a competitor, and that's the thing that is so fun to watch is how well he competes, not only on Saturday, but throughout the week. And he's a servant leader. He's going to get the best out of all of his teammates, and we're real excited about the rest of this year and what he's done so far. It's been great for NDSU.
And it's times like now you can tap into that leadership as well. You know, he can lift his other teammates up, can't he?
Absolutely. He's a dynamite leader, and you'll see guys like Carson come to the forefront, come to the stage this week.
No doubt. In this week's Peterson Farm Seed Future Crop of Bison, the Bison have a talented young wide receiver in Marquise Bridges. He is from Minneapolis de La Salle, was a first-team All-State and first-team All-Metro. Needless to say, Bridges was highly recruited.
My first offer was from NDSU. It came in the summertime after I came to camp. And then after this offer, more offers started coming in, UNI, South Dakota State, and Montana. Only school I was really other one I was considering was UNI because I liked their school too. But ultimately I came here because the coaches.
Well, Coach, what do you think of Marquise?
He's a really good football player. He's going to play an awful lot as a redshirt freshman next year. He's got great speed. really good hands. He's an electric player, and he was one of those guys that was right on the borderline of where we're going to play him or not. And fortunately, you know, with Zach's health, we were able to redshirt Marquise.
It'll be fun to watch him develop. Well, coming up, another tough game, Indiana State in Terre Haute. We'll break it down for you. Stay with us. Well, Coach, what do you make of Indiana State? A tough road game. Every road game in the Valley is tough.
Yeah, they took it to Southern Illinois at their place on Saturday, and they have a lot of guys returning off of last year's playoff team, and they made some noise in the playoffs, and it'll be a tough, challenging game as all the Valley games are.
You know, their coaching staff has done a pretty good job. They had a tough year a couple years ago, but they've been very, very competitive the last year and a half here.
Yeah, and they've done it the right way. They've done it with high school kids, and now these guys that were struggling a couple years ago when we played are now redshirt sophomores, redshirt juniors, and they've bought into the program and the system, and you know, they're playing really well. They had Purdue beat, didn't come up with that one, but I think they're 2-1 in the league, so it's a pivotal game in the league race.
What do you think of the early kickoff? Do you like that? Do the players like it? It's a noon kickoff.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock out there, I believe.
Yep, noon here.
Yeah, so I don't mind it. I know the guys probably will be anxious this week that the earlier you play it, the better.
Yeah.
And so for us, it won't be anything different. We just got to get up an hour earlier and go play.
What about having to generate your own energy as well? They're not known for big crowds. There probably will not be a big crowd, so there's not that part of it as well. Is that a good thing, bad thing?
Well, I think there'll be more people there because NDSU's coming into town, and I don't care if we're playing in a parking lot right now. Our guys are going to bring the energy this week, I promise you that.
This is going to be an ESPN3 exclusive broadcast done by the Missouri Valley Football Conference. We'll have, of course, the Bison Radio Network ramped up for you, and it's going to be a fun week, and best of luck in practice this week. And I know you believe in your guys, don't you?
I sure do. Our guys will bounce back and blip on the radar, but this is a good league, and we got to come ready to go every Saturday.
Every week is tough. The Indiana State Sycamores are up next for the Bison. The Bison will be ready to go, and we will recap it for you next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone.
Oh.